Okay, what does success means to you?
Having a group of people that love and support you and having the basic necessities, roof, health, and food.
Fantastic. What does happiness means to you?
Being, being fulfilled within those parameters, being fulfilled and challenged every day in the various ways, fitness, business, etc.
Fantastic.
Hello, 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 beautiful people of the world. Welcome back to the Happy Conversation Idea Show. Here you can learn and flourish with the thoughts, ideas, and the stories of the happiest people. With my over 2 decades of research and study on why some people seems to do well in life while others do not, this valuable transforming information has changed my life and the lives of thousands of others have made the same discovery. And I sincerely hope it will have a happy and profitable effect on yours. I request that whenever you listen or to watch this show, you will do so with a notepad or journal handy to take permanent notes because we seems to forget the spoken words quickly. Okay, as we all know that every person's fingerprint and signatures are different. That's true. Now, just imagine that you are seated in a movie theater, looking at the dark curtain which hides the blank movie screen as you waited for the feature film to begin. What will this profound picture do for you? How will it affect you? What meaningful impact will it have on your life? Will you feel inspired? Perhaps even to tears? Will you happily laugh at the comedy or feel terrified at the challenges faced by the actor or actresses? Would you feel blissful wave of the drama, love and compassion or surges of the resentment? All these feelings will pulse through you and more, for the picture you will see is about the most fascinating and incredible person in the world, yourself, you. In this movie theater which is in the mind and the heart of each of us, you are the visionary producer, director, writer, editor, actress, hero, and the main villain. You are the film editor and the technician at the backstage, and the wonderful audience which reacts to this thrilling picture. The exciting story unfolds upon this inner screen is one, which is invented every second of your life, yesterday, tomorrow, and today, but most importantly, right now. You watch this image on the screen and you invent the image upon that screen right now. Will the story will have a happy ending? Is it full of happiness and success or sorrow and failure? The storyline is already there in the discerning. You can tell the direction in which the story will go, but one realization can comfort you. Since you are the dramatist, the producer, the director, and the actor, you can change the story as it unfolds now, this instant, and for the whole lifetime. Let's hear how much this imagination story has impacted Garth Collins. My dear friend Garth Collins is the managing partner of this Timelapse Film in Vancouver, BC, Canada. He is equipped with his BCOMM. Garth has fused his love for marketing and communication with his strengths in leadership within a team settings. He played hockey in the WHL, where he learned the importance of communication, discipline, and patience. It was in the WHL that he learned the power of investment in himself and in others, and truly began his journey towards eternal happiness. Timelapse Film is an award-winning creative and production studio. They believe in a smarter way to create, produce, and activate stunning contents for global agency and brands. They continue to meticulously build and curate the next generation of storyteller across all commercial genres.
Hello, 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 beautiful people of the world. Welcome back to the Happy Conversation Idea Show. And let's welcome my dear friend, Garth, to the Happy Conversation Idea Show. How are you doing, my friend, today? Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me, Mr. Happy. Nice to see you outside of the gym.
I know, I know.
Talking
We
about
missed
life.
out this gym because of this interview. I know, and I really get inspired by you. Like how you pick up all the lifts and all. I'm a really fan of yours in the gym, no doubt. And this is how incredible a lot of other members get inspired by you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, same for you. It's a great environment to start your day in general. Everyone's happy, everyone's working hard, and it's really changed my life starting my days at the gym.
No, lovely. It's good. This is a good and the great sign of the not only positive mental attitude, but the passionate peoples. Okay, without any delay, we'll start about that because our audience is waiting, would like to know about you. So, Garth, please tell me and let us what inspires you to choose the hockey career and now film industry career?
Yeah, hockey was a reflection of my environment where I grew up in. There was no pressure from family or friends or anything like that. I grew up in Edmonton, Alberta. That's what you did. So I started playing hockey from an early age, maybe 3 or 4. And like anything I do, I didn't know this at the time, I wanted to be the best at it. So, that took me into a career in the WHL, playing major junior hockey. And that afforded me a scholarship at the University of Alberta. Without getting too much into the hockey part of it, one day I realized there was other things in life. Hockey was what I did my 15 years, the majority of my life. And I thought, I want to use my brain for something else. So I went to school, studied marketing, and had no interest in the film industry per se, but found my way into working with creatives in Edmonton in the form of musicians, and had always thought that I had a connection working with creatives. And did you want to know kind of how that transitioned into film? Because it's kind of interesting because I never had this planned.
Wow, that's very creative right there.
Yeah, well, I realized a long time ago, I'm 35, so maybe about 15 years ago, I always think of myself as a creative person, and all my friends are creative. And one thing I realized is most of them really great at being creative and doing their respective art form, and they're very passionate about it. But at the end of the day, we all have bills to pay. So how do we monetize that? And I kind of just fell into that niche of monetizing art, and now my career has grown into the film industry. But it's really important, and people don't want to talk about it. It needs to be about the art, and it's a fine line to walk because you want to respect the craft. But if you can make money and feel happy doing it, then everyone wins. So that's where I find myself today. And I think there's a ton of similarities from my hockey background into a film background, really finding your role within a team and being the best at that. When I was playing hockey, believe it or not, because I know you see me ear to ear smile at the gym, I was a fighter.
I can see that.
I was a fighter. And it's not me. It's not my personality at all. But I did my job to support the team. And in many ways, I feel like, there's no, mentally, I'm providing grit and determination in that quote unquote fight to provide for my team. So I find so many similarities, and I'm really grateful to have been brought up in a team environment where you support each other, you have each other's back, and you communicate. So many parallels.
Fantastic. I really admire that, how the creative shift from the hockey to film industry you have, and then also you have so meaningful purpose that you find the purpose and passion in that, and then you're elaborating and you're expanding now and merging your talents and skills into this industry. Now, tell us, Garth, do you think that filmmaking career and lifestyle are challenging or rewarding?
I think they're both. I've learned to, in the last few years, you can embrace the challenge to find the reward. Wow. Whereas previously, if I'm being honest with myself, I think I dodged challenges, and I would try and find the path of least resistance and I had my eyes on the finish line, and that remains the same.
Yeah.
Absolutely had my eyes on the finish line. But one of the many things I work on day to day, just in my DNA, is to take the challenging path, be comfortable being uncomfortable. And I'm telling you, Happy, there's going to be a lot of these analogies, but this all goes back to the gym.
Yes.
Work through it, work
Yes.
hard, be
Yes.
comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yes.
And oh man, has that really, that's, I'm really coming to my own and figuring out what kind of man I want to be, what kind of professional I want to be, where I want to go. I know what the finish line is with film. I know what I want to do
Yes.
financially or what we want to do with the company, but taking the path of least resistance is something I know, something that excites me now. It feels so much better. And that's a big high level point, but just some context on how I kind of approach my day to day.
Wow, that's rewarding, I guess. No, fantastic. What you just mentioned, that it's getting there, working hard in a gym with the same philosophy in your line of a career too. Now, tell us, Garth, how do you make a blockbuster or super hit commercial or film on a budget?
Yeah, there is a lot of answers to that. I think from the early stages, we needed to separate ourselves in the Vancouver market by solving problems without throwing dollars at them. There's a lot of people that are a lot more experienced than us in the city that, we're not going to outshine them. Hopefully we get there one day, but we need to stand out. How do we stand out? Well, let's figure out how to solve problems creatively.
Nice.
And you can build culture. I can talk about building the culture and building, the company we built and the environments that we built and are putting people that we bring onto our team for productions.
Yes.
We really believe that will yield 10, 20, 30%. I'll use the very subjective word, better performance, which will help us create commercials or projects or music videos or content that stands out. So if you take that path of, not hiring the easy person, but really taking a step and looking at the culture, the personalities, the chemistry, and thinking about what kind of meal you're building with all these people, that's really the only way we can stand out at this level at the X $100,000 commercials or content we're creating, because we can't buy our way out of these problems. So how else do we stand out? Sure, certainly we can work hard. And I like to think that everyone, give or take a few degrees, is working hard. How do we work smart? And I think that working smart for us can mean solving problems creatively, thinking outside the box, respectfully collaborating and suggesting other ideas to our clients and our partners and stakeholders, and working through that. And that's how we've found success and kind of separating ourselves from the pack in a way, we hope, in the Vancouver market at least.
Excellent. That's a profound answer. Phenomenal. Now, please tell us about any of your situation in path. Like, what is your failed film project which turned out to be successful, if any?
Yeah. Oh man, there's a lot of answers.
I know.
Well, we just did one commercial for a client. I shall remain nameless, but it's coming soon. But I think that really comes to mind in terms of success right now, and I'll tell you why. We had brought in a director from New York that we were talking to, and this director is incredibly accomplished, and in our eyes, in our humble eyes, doesn't really have he can go anywhere he wants to work, and we felt a connection. As I know it's cliche, but we were friends first. We were really just even if we never worked together, I would want to talk to he's my friend. And we built a relationship over the last few months, and I can't stress this enough, he can have his pick of the litter. And a project came about, a great project with a great agency, very great for our business and our growth and relationships. And we did this with him, and we were just so, we're proud when people select to work with us. And we don't take that for granted, and we treat every project like it's our last. And everyone, it's an industry of, I suppose, what have you done for me lately? Or you're only as good as your last one. And that can put undue stress, I suppose, but that's how we operate. It keeps a competitive fire. And again, I may be mentioning this project as a successful one to your question because it's fresh in my memory, but bringing someone, who could have had his pick anywhere and him agreeing to do this, it was really a wonderful experience and gave us a lot of confidence to just understand our value and understand what we can offer people and, have a higher appreciation for what we're bringing to our industry in Vancouver and outside of this market into North America.
Fantastic. That's you were so open-minded and also collaborating from United States, from New York. He came and he did the project. It's a big success. And I'm excited to listen more, and I'll definitely give a thought on that how you collaborated and you got a success from the failed project to the success project. Fantastic. Now, my dear Garth, please tell us, being a managing partner and producer, what ideas do you use to put together to work in harmony during shooting at one or various location to produce the results?
It's all visibility and communication from the ground floor. We front load the project. 90% of the project is done in pre-production. There's communication to the people that we're bringing on as creative partners in the various departments that we hire for. There's communication to the client about what we're thinking, what we're doing, and why, with a variety of options and solutions. We're never going to handcuff a client and say, this is what we're doing. Of course, that's not very collaborative. And then most importantly, there's a full visibility to the client, the person, the stakeholders involved. So that is an art form, 100%, where when we go to shoot on the day, maybe some people get mad at me for saying this, but I feel like whatever percent, 80, 90% that's kind of the fun part now, because everyone knows what we're doing. We are so well planned. We are so well thought out. Everything is built out. Obviously things can happen and we need to, adapt on the day. So I don't want to sell the stresses and the art form of being on set and shooting. I don't want to undercut that. But as long as there's, we know what we're doing. There's a plan in place. We're there to execute that plan. So that really ensures, harmonious production across the board, front load, communication, no surprises.
Fantastic. I like that harmonious part, that you are well planned. And the generous part is that, Garth, you didn't take the credit that you, being as a producer, you put it all that, but you mentioned that we do that. It's well planned and organized and all that. And that's the sign of a generous and a creative producer, and is the backbone of one of the fantastic production you are. Thank you. I would like to ask you, Garth, how do you decide if the film is a small or a big screen worthy, or just on for the internet? How do you decide that?
Yeah, so that's a great question. The majority of the work we're doing right now, as we sharpen our skill sets, build our network, build our brand, is there's a media plan in place. This is branded content, commercials, digital shorts. There's a media team that we work with that has a very specific plan for, which platforms, demographics, usage, term, all that stuff. Very clinical and very algorithmic. I don't know if that's algorithm driven. So there's that part of it where we're really just putting forward the best content given the boards we see from the creative agency and the media buying team. So there's that part of it. Now, the other part of it, and why this is an interesting question, is because our future, and where we're just starting to dip our toes into, is original content. We're just wrapping we just wrapped our first short documentary. Stand by on that. Don't want to give anything away yet, but there's going to be some big releases, big news coming with what we're doing with that. But this is a whole new world where now we have a baby that we've invested the two major currencies of time and money. And we're creating content we believe the world will enjoy, or maybe needs to watch, or should watch. And we're going to now a new world where we can start, it's a new vertical for us where we can create this content and monetize this through various platforms and going through the film festival circuit and all that kind of stuff. So we're just starting to get into that in a meaningful way. But to your question of what how do we decide if it's
big or small?
How do we decide the usage, big or small? The majority of our content right now is very well planned out by a separate media buying team at this point.
No, fantastic. That's called the organization, and it sounds not only that, but I know you personally, but it also sounds and that how the way you demonstrated that it's well planning and all organized and preparation meets the opportunity, and I think that's the wonderful thing what you and your team is doing at the Timelapse Film. Now, Garth, tell us, would you be interested? Would you make $100 million budget for one project, or you rather do 10 projects of 10 million each?
10 projects of 10 million each.
What would excite you most? Just only $100 million project, one project, or would you like to do 10 projects of 10 million each?
10 projects, 100%.
Okay. Why?
First and foremost, less pressure.
Okay.
Less pressure.
Smart producer. I like that.
Yeah. That's the first thing that jumps out to me. But in addition to that, one thing I believe in with me and my three partners and best friends, Mark, Trevor, and Braden, one thing I know about us is we are quick learners. And I see 10 projects in my mind. I think immediately, wow, 10 projects, that means we're going to get to learn about 10 things. That means we're going to get to touch 10 different crews, which means 10x the people, the network. That is just music to my ears, because everything that we surround ourselves with, we learn, we listen. We are always, always, always better from going into a production and working with a different network of people and clients. It's the best. So without hesitation, 10 projects at 10 million. In fact, I think if bandwidth was not an issue, I would take 100 at 1 million.
Whoa, smart, girl. People gonna steal your ideas, but that's when you're generous. Like, you like to grow and you like to work together and all. Fantastic. I like that. Like Jason Blum, he is one of the producers. He makes small budget movies, but he's phenomenal producer. He has a lot of great success in his portfolio. So that's one of the strategy. I think small budget projects and creating into the big, large $1 million projects and all. Great. Now, please tell us, Greg, who decides the director and actor in your project, or the references work in this industry according to you? Let me rephrase that one. A lot of time references, when you reach that stage, then you think, okay, with my reference, take this director, with my reference, take this actor. Is that works? Or what do you think that you have the decision making, the different process you do to choose actors and directors?
Yeah, so I'll answer that question with directors first. So us as a production company in Vancouver, we have enough on our resume where people aren't hiring us or considering working with us because of our production skill sets. At this level, they're not talking to me or our team unless they already know we're more than capable. So it's not a matter of can we execute the production. People are talking to us because of the flavors of directors we have. So they're hiring us based off of, what director can bring this creative home. It took me a while to learn this, really. I thought for the longest time, maybe this is about 3-4 years ago, I thought that I was trying to communicate, our brand message was, trust us with your production. We'll nail it. We'll take 100,000 and we'll make it look like 200. Like, just trust us, give us a shot. We'll kill ourselves over this. And sure, that may be true. But at a certain level, it's expected that you're going to nail the production. They are hiring you on their director. There are so many different types of director, whether it's comedy-based, emotional, narrative, storytelling. The last project we did lived in the really like surreal, absurdist kind of comedic world. These are the flavors. They are spices in your kitchen. And the job is to identify the dish and season it the right way with the right spices via the director. So that is, at the level of projects we're doing, it's, the common communication here is, hey Garth, we have this, here's the scripts, we have this coming up, here's our dates, are you available? A. B,
Yes.
Do you have a director that could be a fit for this? If so, please share his or her reels with us or previous work, and we'll let you know if we feel there's a fit. And there's a fit, we'll go into the treatment writing stage, and it's all quite a process. But references, not so much. It's all the work at this level. And then just quickly to your question about the actors and actors on-screen talent, that'll be a collaborative thing with the agency and the client, where they'll have something in mind. Diversity is key always, but maybe we'll want to tap into certain demographics or certain nods to certain different attributes as a person, or whoever their key demographics are, and then we'll go through a casting agency, and then they'll usually have hundreds of people. We'll shortlist that down to a couple dozen, we'll chisel away, and we'll find the perfect fit. So that's a very collaborative process creatively with the director and the agency.
Fantastic. I like that whole combination, and systematically you explain about the director process that you choose, but you have given us a wonderful example of a kitchen spices that that you have a variety of excellence in your production department, and the directors would love to work, and that's because of the results people come to your production for hiring you, and the process of actor from the agencies. Now this is fantastic, such a ethical and professional way you're dealing, and that's why your film production company is on top notch, and I'm so glad to come to know about that. And I would like to ask this question because it was a very one of the profound question asked by one of my client in the production industry, and she's actress too as well. So I wanted to clear it off because you are my friend and also a professional producer too, that most time the aspiring actor and actors thinks that the only references work in this industry, but that's not so true. So thanks for clearing that part too as well. Next question is, Garth, my dear, in making the film, do you determine what world should watch, or do you learn from what the world is interested to see?
I think a bit of both. Wow, that's a great question.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think a bit of both. I think you go in with these preconceived notions of what you believe to be the case and what you believe people want to see. And certainly that can be a guiding light. But in the process of finalizing everything, scripts, wardrobe, everything, you listen and you get just the same way I think I have my idea of what the definition of success with what the world wants to see. Guess what? Someone sitting beside me has a different definition that may be the same, but it's going to be slightly tweaked. And that's why, if we can all absorb a little bit of that, I think that's why it's kind of both, because you're kind of absorbing and maybe not pivoting, but you're absorbing and evolving through a production as well. If that makes sense. Like, it's kind of an old saying. We kind of joke around, me and my partners joke around because we've been saying this for years, and it's like we were kind of making fun of saying it because it's just one of those oversaid things. But the production has three life forms, right? There's the creative that comes to you, and then you develop it in pre-production, and you land where you land, and then you go and you shoot it, and you better believe that things are going to change, and you're going to learn what you think, quote unquote, the world wants to see a little differently on the day, because maybe the sun was shining through the trees perfectly and you want it, whatever. You don't know, you can't plan for it, but it takes another life form on that. And then finally you go into post-production, and there's moments, there's things that happen that you can't plan for, and that's the final life form that a production takes. So that's a great question, and I hope I didn't dance around it too much. It's like a bit of both, a bit of everything.
Yeah, I know. Well, thanks for your generous and smart answer. I really admire that the way you put it up, that you didn't say that you only one, because some production company will reach to that acme and phenomenal pinnacle stage that they will think that what we will produce, or the way we see the world should see. And so you demonstrated that you're willing to learn from the world and listen and to see what they wanted to see and watch and produce that kind of thing. So that's the great production producer answer too.
You know,
Thank you.
no,
Yes.
you know, I was thinking about something happy this morning. I want to share with you. It was just a
Right.
thought, kind of akin to this. I was listening to some music on the way to the gym, and I was listening to the new Chili Peppers album, and
Okay.
I really like it, and I was listening to it, and I shared it with one of my friends who loves Chili Peppers, but he said he didn't love it. And I was just listening to it, and I was just thinking, I was like, it's so interesting how I can listen to something and I can hear things that I like, and maybe someone else, you know, maybe I feel 100 out of 100 about it, but maybe someone else feels 40 out of 100 or whatever. And I just thought, I don't know, it's so weird. I just had this thought this morning. If What a superpower it could be. So I'll use the analogy of music for me to understand why, you know, there's 7 billion people in the world. Everyone has their own versions of what they love and what they don't love and why. And there's no right or wrong answer. What a superpower it is to like actually understand and listen to someone else and what they might think is great. In this, now transferring it over to your question of what is beautiful and what the world wants to see in film. It's the same thing with music. You know, everyone, you know what I mean? Like, if you can really put yourself in someone else's shoes and understand what they're understanding, because they will have the same passion that you have about a certain amount of things.
I like
And
that.
it's something I'm striving to do is put myself in other people's shoes and appreciate the things that they're passionate about and they love and their points of views. An older version of myself, or sorry, a younger version of myself was more stubborn and wasn't open to that. So I was just thinking about that this morning. I thought I'd share that.
No, thank you so much. That's very profound. I want to add on this because it's very thoughtful conversation right now here. And you know what? I have this stone. You cannot probably read. It says others important. Whenever I go for my networking meeting and all, it's in my pocket always, and I touch it. When I was young, I was never let other people speak, and I have not a good, decent manner to listen properly. So I was always about to talk about myself and what I was interested. So I learned two powerful words, which is very close to interested and interesting. When we are interested in others, we become more interesting people. If I'm talking about what is interesting to me, and if I talk about me and I might not be a good listener and I will be like, not liked in my circle. That's why I put this stone in my pocket. It says importance of others. And that's so profound what you just said, that, if we are interested in all others, what they want to do, learn and see and watch as in a producer, then we can produce all the things like this show. It's all about you are my hero and your story is a hero. So thanks for sharing that. I'm really honored that what you mentioned about that song too as well. Okay, we'll go next one. God, do you believe that going to film school and learning about producing and acting is a necessary, or it's an inborn talent someone can do on its own? How much of that is true? Because a lot of phenomenal producer, actor in the history in Hollywood and other industry, they've been born talented and skilled since the early age, and they didn't go to their schooling and all.
Yeah.
And where you are today.
Yeah. I feel quite strongly that in my experience in life, schooling is not needed. But let me caveat that. I think the best experience is life experience for me. That's just for me. And that would be my advice and guidance to anyone that would ask and care for my opinion on it. I believe the best thing to do is to have life experience, and even serving tables and doing stuff like that. Nothing beats that. You learn on the spot. You learn faster. Again, in my experience.
Yes.
And you learn hard lessons, and you're not filtered, and you're introduced to life. Life can be tough, can be beautiful, it can be everything. What better way to learn than being on the spot? And I stand by that, and I don't have children, and maybe I will one day, and that would be my guidance to them, and that would be their decision. But I will say that acting is a very specific craft that takes reps, and I do believe that studying theory and studying that art form would be beneficial. I specifically believe studying acting
Yes.
is beneficial. I'm really undetermined on directors. I've met many of the most successful directors I've met have not gone to film school, and because directing is like such a interesting mix of like street smarts and real life understanding people and what motivates them, and directing emotions to your heart, your eyes, everything to certain areas, and like playing with someone's journey. It takes real people skills. I'm not a director at all, but man, do I have a lot of respect for it. Oh, do I ever. And so I'm really on the fence of that, because I don't, I'm not a director, so I don't know the things. I have to think that going to film school and learning things like more of the technical side of it, like framing and composition and all that lighting and all that, like, I have to think that you would benefit from schooling there. But I would say for the more theory-based crafts in our field, such as acting, yes, schooling, and the more people-based skill sets, no. Go to the school of life and learning from people around you. Though, what better professors than the girl at the coffee shop that's having a bad day that you share a laugh with? Like, what better experiences than every single person I meet at the gym or in, the various things on the golf course or tennis or this or that? What better experience than that? The highs and lows are real. They're not fake. They're unscripted. And that can, I believe, perhaps better prepare you for the realities of life, because it's not scripted.
Fantastic. I like that, the real and organic and pure thought about the life lesson. I strongly believe in that, and I've been admiring, and I've done I've been in past, I was model, actor, and fashion director too. So I know how it is. I never went to any school, in acting school, or never went to any producing or even directing school. And this is so true. I'm not exaggerating. I have no formal education in acting and directing, but I had done thousands of fashion shows, directed, done hundreds of commercial ads, TV soap operas, and photo shoots, and so on. And that's the history back. People can watch and read on my LinkedIn profile. But I strongly agree, the people skills is the most important skill. I think school, college, universities fail to teach, but it has to be learned our own. Time management skills and people skills and money skills is vitally important in our life, and it can come with our personal initiative if we take and we do the things we wanted to do for the sake of doing it. Well, thanks so much. One of the last question for this segment I will ask now. This is so much of brainstorming, so much of creative work you put into that. You work with the creative minds and all. Now, it boils down to the foundation question is, how do you fill up your mental, emotional, and spiritual bank?
Well, I try to keep. Wow, that's a deep question.
Because you going on day and night, packing, shooting, from crew to actor, director, costume. There are hundreds, not probably thousands of credits. When you see movie finishes, there are thousands and tens of thousands of people involved in production. And being a producer is the backbone of the whole movie industry, that you choose each single individual precisely and you monitor. But when you're gone, the shoot is packed up and on you back home, and you have a family life. That's where it comes, that your ingredient, that mental, emotional, spiritual bank. How do you fill up? How do you maintain? How do you fill up?
Yeah, no, it's a work in progress. There's a couple things, and I will touch base on something. In the last couple years, I have completely quit alcohol.
Okay.
Maybe a couple times in the last 2 years, but for all intents and purposes, completely have just went sober. Nothing. I never really was a big like weed, smoking marijuana or anything like that. So I think that has forced me to fill my time with other things, and it's forced me to find balance in other ways. And now, to balance out different types of happiness, I need to have a couple pillars.
Yes.
I need to have a couple pillars where work, well, I don't ever call it work, but what we're building at Timelapse that's my joy and passion, and projects come and they go and you get these hits of dopamine and success, and then it's over, and then you get back to home base and it's like, okay, what's next? I have a couple pillars that I stay by. And the reason I mentioned the sobriety part of things is because I think a younger version of myself may have used that as a pillar to, whether it's to kill time or whatever it was, maybe it was like this false sense of happiness. But I have replaced that with health and fitness, wellness, diet, all that.
Yes.
And I don't know if this is answering your question, but where my mind's going is, that's all that matters to me. That, my key relationships with my fiance, Stevie, I'm so lucky to have 4 or 5 best friends, 3 of them my business partners, and my family. That's all that matters. So that ship's always sailing. I have a roof over my head, beautiful dog. I have everything I need in life to be happy. So I find that I keep my pillars straight, and I'll go out and I'll venture out and I'll do a production and I'll have these huge hits of happiness and like success, and like it's a roller coaster and it's like such a journey. And then I come back, but I'm always coming back to that pillar that's always moving forward, and that's all I care about.
Fantastic.
And I hope that answers your question of how I balance.
No, definitely. It was really well explained, actually, and it's not matter of that what you just said. Also, it's really meaningful. Like your pillar, you have a surrounding circle of your intelligent and creative people and production people you have, and your beloved one you have, and ultimately, when in this industry, it's too much of stress, but it's progressing, and also joy is there, no doubt. So you will mention that if somebody is aspiring, producing, or its industry, can get a golden nuggets from here and a good inspiration that you have your pillars. It can, for everybody, can have their different pillars of sincerity, honesty, integrity, and beloved ones and pets and or family member. So having pillars is very important. Well, thanks so much.
We're not in the operating room. Sorry to interrupt. We're so lucky. We're not saving lives. We're creating content. It's fun, and I learned it's so easier said than done, but we can have fun doing what we're doing because lives aren't on the line. Like, let's have fun doing it, and then go out and do it, and then come back to home base. And I find that the passion, in my experience, the passion will stay there as well, because it's not life or death always. And that's how if you don't, I used to play hockey, so pardon the analogy, but if you don't grip your stick so tight, like you got to make the play. If you just kind of loosen up, then you can make the play. You can go out there and you can have fun, and you'll have a longer career. And certainly in my experience, I've been happy for longer.
No, it shows that. Well, thanks so much for explaining that part. Okay, now Garth, let's do this, our second round we call Make the World Happy Round. And your short, sweet, humorous, creative, and imaginative answers are welcome. Okay, what does success means to you?
Having a group of people that love and support you, and having the basic necessities, roof, health, and food.
Fantastic. What does happiness means to you?
Being fulfilled within those parameters, being fulfilled and challenged every day in the various ways, fitness, business, etc.
Fantastic. What does failure mean to you?
A lesson learned that will only drive you forward if you let it.
I love that. If you let it. Okay, what does lifestyle means to you?
What you're passionate about outside of the core fundamental things, such as music, the arts. I think it's the additional things that you are passionate about and that represent you.
Fantastic. That's a great lifestyle, and you very well explained it. Now, okay, Garth, you need to choose one, okay? You need to choose one. What do you like to have more in your life? Love, sex, money, or fame?
Love. And I was torn between love or money. With love, you'll never you'll never be empty or broke, and nothing is ever too bad. If you're actually loved, nothing is ever too bad.
I know. Thanks so much for this profound answer. Love is, yeah, that's what we all need. And I wish everybody, our listeners and everyone, may they fulfilled with abundance of love in their life. With their
3-4 years ago,
yeah,
and prior, I say money.
Buddy, I know that I can read your mind.
It was between the two. I'm thinking different now these days, Happy.
Oh, it's okay. Once we move on from 30 onwards, the life experience says love and care and respect is the most important thing we require, more than a materialistic thing, in my opinion. That's so true. Okay, now Garth, tell us, what is the funniest moment of your life, if you can recall?
Okay, I'll tell a quick story. So when I was playing hockey, we did like our skills competition, there'd be 5 to 10,000 fans watching, hardest slap shot, fastest skater, all this stuff.
Yeah.
And we were doing fastest skater, and I don't know why, but we were supposed to put a show on for our fans and stuff like that. And for whatever reason, I just thought it would be, I thought it'd be funny when we were doing fastest skater that someone came and kind of skated right in front of me, and I was going to kind of cut them off. And I thought it'd be funny for the fans and stuff like that. It was really it was not well thought out. And so I like stepped in front of a guy, if you can picture skating around the perimeter of the ice. I stepped in front of him to try and cut him off, and he just didn't dodge me at all. Completely flattened me, and I sprained my ankle, and I was out for like 4 to 6 weeks. And like I had like maybe 7 or 8 or maybe up to 10,000 people like laughing at me. It wasn't funny. It wasn't well thought out, and I was 18.
I hope I hope we have a video. I'm going to post it here. Then I need to find one.
I'll try and find that. I don't know why that stood out to me.
No, that would be a funniest moment ever. I can just imagine the way he was saying. Well, thanks so much. Okay, now let's go to next. Now, Greg, tell us why film production and bodybuilding, but not acting.
I've definitely been approached. I have a very specific look. I think on average I get told 3 to 5 times a week that I look like Jason Momoa when I put my hair down. So I'll take that compliment. Thank you very much to everyone who says it. Gives me a good confidence boost. I've certainly been asked. You know what? I don't have a passion for it, to be totally honest. Passion needs to drive everything I do. That's a fair answer. I like that. You don't have passion, you have passion for others in your career. That's important. If I was going to be an artist, I would just love to be a drummer. John Bonham, Led Zeppelin, Neil Peart, Rush. If I was going to be an artist and I had to pick today, and I was so lucky to be blessed to
I can see that you like sticks in your hand.
I would be a drummer and no questions asked. That's the art form for me.
You have the drum, and you can take all your passion on that. I can see that. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Okay. Who gets blamed if the film is not successful?
Me, Mark, Braden, Trevor. There's 4 of us. All 4 of us, we wear all that. It's us as the executive producers. It's us, no matter what. If it's someone else, it's we hired them or we didn't give them the guidance. Everything falls on us, and we own that 100%.
Fantastic. I like that generous answer. I hope your partner will be not disappointed with that when they listen to this show. No, you're generous. Thank you so much. Okay, do you copy, specifically you as a producer, do you copy what other producers are doing, or you create your unique projects?
I think that we pay respect to what works, to people that we look up to. We certainly network with a ton of people, and we look at what works within our sandbox. Absolutely. But we like to do things our own way for sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. But we'd be fools to not look at what's working. And apply our little twist for sure. Yeah.
That's it. I like a little twist. There's a twist in the life. I love it. Okay, next one. What is the most challenging life lesson you have learned?
Watch the grass grow. Be patient. And I'm again going to take it to the gym. You go to the gym one day, you feel great, you see no result. You go to the gym for a week, a month maybe, you see nothing. Does that mean, that doesn't mean things aren't happening.
Yeah.
The greatest life lesson, the most challenging one, and the greatest one I've learned is be patient. Do your homework, figure out what you're going to invest your time in, figure out your strategy, stick with it.
Fantastic. I like that. Such a profound answer. I was not patient when I was very young in my early 20s, but I found a lot of tons of patience and very enormous amount of patience.
It's really tough. Instant gratification. Hey, I'm like anyone. I go on my phone and Instagram and this stuff. I'm there too. Instant gratification, dopamine hits. My fiance sent me something like just a little thing the other day or whatever, and it's like stuck with me. I'm like training myself so hard every day, trying to make decisions. It's going to take time. But to manage my dopamine spikes, like I'm so used, I just want like an instant hit of something. I'm not even talking about my phone. I just want to feel good about something. But like just to manage that, neutralize that a little bit, I think is a superpower, because you have so much more patience and you really enjoy the smaller things. Wow, like that's important to me. To each their own, but that's important to me.
Fantastic. I like that key point. Smaller thing. Enjoy that part. Okay, next. What film projects excites you most? Romance, sexy, comedy, drama, or something else?
Yeah, I'd say comedy. I like smiling. I think comedy is it's great. It makes you smile. It makes you feel good. I have a newfound because it's October, and I usually watch a lot of horrors in October. I'm having more and more respect for horror. Like it's not, I put the sheets over my head and like I'm like a big baby. But like it's pretty cool how they manage and manipulate your emotions and your feelings and scare you like really well done horrors. It's not about blood and guts. It's like they're taking you on this journey and scaring you. It's very calculated, and I'm having like a greater appreciation for like thrillers and horrors and stuff like that. So, but I'd say comedy. I love laughing.
Yeah, fantastic, cool. Okay, what can you do and cannot do during the final cut?
Can't change the music. I'm saying.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Can't change the music. That's kind of funny when it gets suggested, because it changes the whole cut, because we cut to the beat of the music or cut to different cues in the music. So I mean that's a silly answer. I guess it's just introducing new ideas, that's probably the main. There's a lot of things.
A lot of things. I don't.
A lot of answers to that.
Answers of that. Yeah, we can compare notes later after this show. But okay. Do you consume information or you produce transformation?
Do I consume information or produce transformation?
Yes.
Produce transformation.
Yeah. Okay.
100%. Yeah.
I like that.
I mean,
I love it.
Absolutely. I ingest daily through various mediums, through people, through media, through a variety of ways. And I ingest that and I cook up the meal that makes sense to me. And I have I'm very vocal to the people that love me and want to hear my voice. Yes. And I share how I feel about growing in life. And that I hope and know that is how the people that love me feel about me, is that I'm a champion for change and growth. I never want to have my tires stuck in the mud. I always want to be growing. I always want to be moving forward. And I hope I'm like a dog. Every year it's like 7 years of growth, It's like I hope that I age like a dog in that sense. It's so important to me. That is what fulfills me. That's what's important. Growth.
I love it. Growth. You don't want to get stuck in the mud. I love that philosophy answer. Good. I like it. So I think my next question also, you already answered it, because I was about to ask you how you gather the critics about your film projects. I think you already answered that. So we will jump to the next one. Who is your best producer and director?
The best producers are Mark Chisholm, Trevor Lang, and Braden Weave, my three best friends and partners. They truly are. I can't answer on the director. It depends on the project. There's some directors that I think are great because they they can execute, and they can do, they're right for the project because they can execute what the client wants, and that's what the project needs. There's some directors I think that are better than others because they'll take a creative script and they'll make it their own. Maybe it's only like 60% thought out and they need that director to take it home. So there's so many different measurements of what is a good director.
Fantastic. I like your genuine and pure natural answer. Okay, next, in general, who's your best actor and actress around the world?
I love Jack Nicholson. Who doesn't? Yeah, I really love Jack Nicholson. I'll see, I'm going to give some pretty basic answers. I'll see anything with Leonardo DiCaprio. Like whatever he's in is going to be great. Same for the most part. With Tom Hanks.
Yes.
And actress, yeah, I really love Julia Roberts. And there's been a couple duds, but in general, I love Charlize Theron. So yeah, I'm kind of like, those are kind of like big Hollywood stars. So can't go wrong with anything there. I'm trying to really think outside the box, and nothing's coming to me there. But
that's
so I'm
okay.
going to put this.
Fair enough. These are the profound actresses, globally renowned, and I'm also a very good fan of them too as well. Okay, next question. Garth, please tell us, who is the most famous person's cell phone number do you have in your cell phone?
Well, it would be Phil Collins, the guitarist from Def Leppard.
Whoa! That's impressive. Okay, thanks.
Story for another day, but we did a project with them, and
I will definitely ask you next day, probably in the gym. Why is that? Okay, we'll elaborate and compare notes on that too. Okay, what is the most romantic thing you have ever done and the world doesn't know about it?
Well, I just took my girlfriend of over 6 years, Stevie, to the the place that we first met just 6.5 years ago, or 6 and a bit years ago. I took her to the first place we met and got down on one knee and proposed to her. And it's romantic because we had planned a trip for Tofino like 3 or 4 days after that at the Wiccan Inn, had this beautiful stay. But I think it was like pretty well known to her family and to her that I was going to propose there. And so I switched it up and totally threw her off guard and took her to the place that we first originally met, surprised her, proposed. She said yes. And then we just celebrated in Tofino for the weekend. But it was nice because we went to a place that had meaning, had special meaning to us. So I don't know if many people know that story, but
I know.
She said yes.
Thank you so much for sharing this, and you're so generous and you so nice and romantic part. That's it. I hope everybody find their own creative way to propose each other. Fantastic. Next one, quickly. We're gonna wrap up very soon now. Okay. Now we have 2 or 3 more imagination questions, and we wrap up the show. Well, I really appreciate your time. I know, but Garth, this is the imagination question. Okay. If God picks you a woman for a day, what will you do more of and less of?
More of, I would go into I would try and schedule a bunch of job interviews or go into like professional settings and just kill it and have a loud voice and just like own the, like, there's just so many powerful and intelligent females that I personally know that I feel like are just finding their voice just because of, different workplace environments and stuff like that. And it's just so awesome to see. So I would go into the boardroom and just own a meeting like
okay, now this is the imagination question. Okay, just imagine, Garth, during the Filmfare Award, everybody's invited and you're there too, and you're sitting in a front row, and during the Filmfare the Film Awards show, you badly wanted to pee and you're heading towards the washroom. But while going on the washroom, you already hear a big noise and the host says, and the best producer of the year is Garth. What will you do?
Oh, I'll go and take that. I'm well trained in holding my pee from the dozens of hours riding a bus across Canada I would own that. I would own that 100%. 100%. It would make for a better, yeah, 100%. I would just own that. Feel the pain, feel uncomfortable, make the moment a lot more special. What's the worst that could happen?
I like that enthusiasm. I don't want to waste my award. That's my best year award. I love it. Okay, we almost closed now. Now, imagine, Garth, if you would be the host of this show, and if I would be the guest of this show, what question you would have asked me?
What are you most excited for with this podcast? What are you most excited for getting out of, what are you getting out of this podcast? Because I have a lot of ideas and thoughts, but I think it's because I know you a little bit and we've talked. I listened to some of your other podcasts and I was been really excited for this. Like, what excites you? And also, I have to think this is a little bit therapeutic for you as well. You get to talk and you get to meet people that you've curated, you've built this. What is it doing for you, and what are you getting out of it? How is it fulfilling you? I would be so interested to hear that answer, because I bet you I could guess some of those things, but I bet you there's a lot of things. And how blessed and lucky are you that you have something that you've created that feeds you in ways as well. So I would be so interested to hear about that.
Well, thanks so much. This is very profound and touchy question you have asked, right? I don't want to rush into that, but I can give you the best answer. There are several reasons, but one or two reasons I can give you. The number one reason is I created this, the podcast and the show is based on idea show. You must have heard about in the world, there is talk shows. My show is in her show and his shows. This is the idea show. So as you can see, the theme of my show is the first foundation. I want to explain this, I've explained many times, but I will do it today again. I want to bring the most successful people, not in the monetary money wise only, but from the spiritual and emotional wise, as happiest person like you. So the thoughts, ideas, and the story of the happiest people, that's what I want to spread to share to the world. Now, what happened? We cannot be happiest person unless we have some story of adversities or story of defeats. We cannot have stories unless we have some ideas. So if we do not have idea unless we have a great thoughts. So I'm going in reverse now. So the foundation of the happiest person starts from the thought, or foundation of a miserable person can start from the thought. So that's why this theme I kept on my show is thoughts, ideas, and story. In the beginning, in a human's mind, it's always a thought, what he or she fashioned for hours and days and years. Nobody goes to the jail, waking up from the bed, I want to go to the jail. Because he or she was fastening that thought to do some crime for months or years. That's why he or she is in the jail. And so nobody want to become a priest or pope to go in a church or to temple to do about something, because he or she having a good thoughts about that. So thought creates actions, and action creates with the ideas, and idea creates and it becomes a story. So thought, ideas, and story of the happiest people. That's why it gives me joy and pleasure to bring celebrities like you on the show, so that you can share your thoughts, ideas, and story to the world, so that they can get inspired and empowered with that. One. And two, what I get joy is every show is a learning for me. I'm learning from a human experience. As we mentioned in our earlier question, the life experience. I learn from the human experience. I get this privilege and honor for an hour to learn about your personal life. Right now, I'm getting the rights to ask about you the personal question. So selflessly, emotionally, and intellectually and spiritually, I create that question that how I can educate myself today than the better I was yesterday, to know about what's in your mind and thought and heart, so that these questions can be said, and all through this medium of show, it can go worldwide. More than 400 million listeners are eligible to listen to the show, so they can get inspired and empowered. No, we are in the cycle, we are in the era of a human mind. The ideas and thoughts and stories can inspire us to become more remarkable person within a year that we cannot become in the rest of our life. So people like you, celebrity like you, have so many actor, actresses, philanthropists, millionaire, billionaire have on my show. They have shared their thoughts, ideas, and story, which is remarkable. Somebody can listen in 1 hour, can get so much of information and ideas that they cannot achieve in their whole lifetime. So that is my one of my theme that gives me joy when my fans and my followers they call me, they say, Happy, this was one of the greatest show we got and all. That fulfills me. That fulfills my entire heart and mind. And in one word, I want to say, I love serving others selflessly. Sometimes I may get a lot of sponsored for the show, or sometimes not. It's a charity base, but I still like to do it. I'm devoting my time towards contribution to serving the world. And I found this platform, this internet, the technology. I can sit down anywhere and I can spread the news. I know I elaborate a bit more. I can go for hours, but this is my main purpose: is serving others selflessly. If we can serve even 1 hour in a month or in a week selflessly to do something for the better of the world, I think we should not miss that opportunity. And I'm using this hour for that purpose. Thank you. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, well said. You know, I'm really grateful that you've come into my life and for this conversation, and I appreciate that response. That means a lot.
My pleasure. Thanks so much. We will have one more question, and then we'll wrap up now. Now, what is your message to the beautiful people of the world?
I'm going to go back to something I said earlier in the interview, and that is figure out what you want. There's no wrong answer there. Figure out what you want and be patient. Watch the grass grow. Watch the grass grow. It will happen if you just be patient, stick to it. Half the battle, if not more, is just showing up. Just show up. Consistency. And things will happen for you. I wish that I would have learned that sooner in life, but it's okay because I'm here now. It's it's shaped me to where I am today. That is the message. I stand by it.
Thank you so much, Garth. And then last one, how did you find this Happy Conversation Idea Show, and what is your takeaway from that? Please share.
Oh, it's soul quenching, Happy. Very, very, very soul quenching. Very therapeutic. Very natural. Very good. Very good. For my headspace and how I'm living these days and what's important to me. I try not to do too much thinking or preparation for this, but I had my ideas what the conversation was going to be about. It's really therapeutic for me to do some reflecting and understand some of my answers to these questions. They're important questions, so it's been a wonderful experience.
No, fantastic. Thanks for your generous answer. And I'm so honored. And I guess all our audience is also pleased and honored. They got the valuable information so that they can transform their information into their personal life. And if someone is an aspiring producer and actor and all, they will also get inspired. And if there are wonderful agencies out there, they wanted to hire you and all, you're welcome. All your details and website will be mentioned below in this ad and this show and the iTunes and the YouTube also. And last, I wanted to say thanks so much, Garth, for taking your precious time and sharing your thoughts, ideas, and story with the wonderful and lovely people of the world. I'm so honored and pleasured. This is Happy Bains here. I want to say sincerely, thank you so much for your precious time and spreading the joy, happiness to the world. Thank you so much. And then last, I wanted to say, adding in your question that what makes me joy is this podcast, this show is related to 3 segments usually. Happiness is first. Second is career and lifestyle. These are the 3 areas I cover to spread, because what major 3 pillars, as you're talking about pillar, I think these are the first 3 pillars in our life that we usually want to explore, advance, and develop that. Our first in our personal growth, happiness-wise, career-wise, and lifestyle-wise. And this is what I'm trying to do. And thanks so much, Garth, once again, for sharing your precious time. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All the best.
Now, the mental chewing diet for the lovely audience. As we know, every family member, any small to large business, community, or nation needs a leader or producer. They must have a strong leadership who can produce tremendous positive personal and professional growth results. Surprisingly, you see, a person's attitude will always reflect their leader, and leader will be found to be just one person. You find behind its success an outstanding leader. He is the most valuable person in society, in the industry. He makes the wheels turn, the entire economy work. The man is responsible for the nation's growth and position in the world. He is the boss and the leader of the millions, the thinker, the planner, the dreamer, and a clock is something that other people watch. You will find this leader who works early and late night, and if he is not working, he is usually planning. Are you that person, that leader, the producer to bring the success in personal and professional growth? This is Happy Bains here, and thank you.